Promotional consideration furnished by Now Sports with Chris Dewar from the University of Illinois Sports Desk.
And tip-top of the holiday weekend, everybody, and welcome to Sports Final. You know, the number of tri-state high school coaches in our area with multiple state titles to their credit is a relatively exclusive fraternity to begin with. Friday, that fraternity just got a little bit smaller. The Dean Street era of Bowling Green softball, which included back-to-back state championships in 2017 and 2018, has come to an end. Street will resign his baseball and softball coaching duties with the Bobcats to become the new head softball coach at Wentzville Holt, and in so doing, he replaces Quincy native Joel Adam. The former Umsel baseball standout has helmed the Bowling Green Diamond squads since 2012 for softball and 2017 for baseball, respectively. Street softball teams have combined for a record of 163-41 in his tenure. The Lady Cats won 5 consecutive district titles from 2014 to 2018 and made 4 consecutive quarterfinals appearances during that run. They also won 4 EMO titles as well. Well, part 2 tonight of our sister act, Tri-State Triumphs, focuses in on Ashley Hayes Moore. The former Monroe City softball star who walked on at Mizzou, became a team captain as a senior, then got recruited within Mizzou into administration, rising now to the position of Executive Associate Athletic Director overseeing the Tiger Scholarship Fund.
Three buckets: major gifts, which kind of builds all the buildings around here; the annual fund, which is what we pay our scholarship bill back to the university with; and then stewardship and special events, which is the fun part of it. So it's when you get to thank people and throw some pretty cool parties.
Obviously, you have been here at the University of Missouri for a wonderful stretch of growth within all athletic departments. And I know a lot of that has been a source of excitement for not just the folks in Columbia, but for fans in general.
So cool, right? I think when you think back to 2001, when I got here, the athletic administrators, their offices were in the Hearns building. That's where, like, my head coach, that's where his office was. And now we kind of like to jab the people who are in the Hearns right now. So my office is in Mizzou Arena. It's this beautiful building. Sometimes I can't believe that this is where I come to work. So, and then you think about what we've opened up. We have a brand new softball field, which is gorgeous and beautiful. And then the south end zone, which has been a game changer for our football field, our football team. Even the Matsy, where our student athletes train and they eat and everything, it's incredible. It's stuff we didn't have. And Nikki can attest to this. Like, college athletics has changed so much since I started in 2001. I can't imagine where it's going from here. It's crazy.
Did you ever imagine when you were playing softball at Mizzou that this would kind of be the end game for you?
No. No idea. Honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Sometimes I still think I don't. But, you know, I think our sport administrator at the time, Mario Mocha, was like, hey, come intern in the Tiger Scholarship Fund my 5th year. And so I did, and I loved it because I get to talk to people who are as passionate about Mizzou athletics as I am. And I get to do that on a daily basis. Like, doesn't really feel like work sometimes.
You had a really nice career. You kind of crafted that on yourself. And obviously, by the time you got to senior, team captain, you know, obviously a very effective career looking backwards. How much of that shaped who you are and just the success you've had today? And how much do you harken back some of those same things that made you successful?
I think you're probably looking at my biggest reason on here with Nikki, but I think it just wasn't. It was hard, if I'm being honest. I mean, coming to Mizzou, I took a chance. I think in a small town, you're a big fish, little pond. And I came to Mizzou, and not only is everyone as good as I am, a lot of them are better than I am. And you're fighting for your spot every day. And I think sports teaches you a lot. I have 3 boys now who are involved in sports, and I think it teaches you more how to lose than it does really how to win. So I lose every day in this job. I lost a lot, but it keeps you fighting. And I think that we're obviously a very competitive family. That's how we were raised. That, you know, if you get knocked down, you keep getting back up. So I think, honestly, coming to Mizzou and being pushed to be better every single day in practice and every single day in the summer, it taught me a lot. And honestly, the coach who brought me here was fired after my freshman year. So it teaches you how to be adaptable.
Your 3 sons, what are their names?
Gibson, Dean, and Brock.
So I'm guessing there are no fans in the family.
No.
I didn't think
and they're only Hall of Famer names.
That's right.
They're not only Cardinal names, Hall of Fame Cardinal names.
When you say that, when you're at an event or, and you tell people you're a former Tiger, kind of how does that work and how does that play in your current job?
It's so funny. So I start, when I meet a new donor for the first time and they're like, well, where are you from? I'm like, well, I'm from Missouri. They're like, well, what part of Missouri? Well, I'm from a small town in northeast Missouri. Well, what town? Oh, it's up around Hannibal, Missouri. They're like, oh, I know where Hannibal is. I'm like, all right, well, I graduated from Monroe City. And they're like, oh, I know where Monroe City is. And they'll start talking about sports and stuff. And then I'll say, well, actually, I'm from Swinky. And that's how I really know if they know anything about Missouri. I'm so proud to be from Monroe and from Swinky. And honestly, I think it's more like the family dynamic. It's growing up in a small town, there's nothing like it. I think it's so special, and I don't think people realize that. I think we won state basketball, and the town shuts down, right? So when you go to state, and I know my brother Kyle played in state football, the town shuts down, businesses close, everyone leaves, everyone goes to St. Louis at the time where it was, or Columbia for the basketball. That's so cool. You don't get that in big city. You don't get that even in Columbia. And to me, Columbia is a huge town. I get reminded often that it's not a big city, but you don't even get that here. There's so much community pride that is so cool to see. And it's just cool to see even now, following it on Twitter and seeing wins that the softball team gets or the basketball team or whatever it is. I think Coach Plurd always used to say that we would remember the practices and not the games. And we definitely remember the practices, mostly for the running.
And jump rope.
And jump ropes. Oh, yeah. With real rope, not even these little sissy jump ropes.
Our complete interview with the Hay sisters, which is more entertaining than that, I can guarantee you as well, online now at KHQA.com. Now, as promised, we began our senior signing salute from a busy week with our most elaborate home ceremony yet, right here in the Gem City, homemade stage and all. The fast-rising Culver Stockton women's basketball program filled a need for a stretch forward with Quincy High's Sprin Holtz, whose inside-outside game is as stretchy as they come.
It really means a lot to me. Right now, I don't think nobody would really not want to be a part of it. It's something that's really special, and they're really just taking off and going up, and I'm super excited to be a part of what's going on there right now. What really stood out to me was how they're all really like a family, like we are at QHS. And Coach Bergen and Coach Helmer, I just know they're going to be coaches that are going to make me the best I can be. And I also really like that the gym's always open, so that's going to be one thing that I'm going to always be working on my game. I'm going to major in physical education, and if I don't keep playing basketball, I've always wanted to coach, so that's probably one of my biggest goals.
Well, if you caught his Student Athlete of the Week profile this past winter, you know South Shelby's Guy Timbrook is an aspiring civil engineer with outstanding academic bona fides. But the Cardinal forward isn't closing the door on basketball just yet. A stellar tryout session in Fayette turned heads there and lands him as a part of the incoming class at Central Methodist.
A guy up for a workout with a bunch of different guys before, everything had to close down, and his work ethic, definitely his academics as well has helped draw us to him beforehand. But while he was there working out, just his energy, he never took any plays off, and we needed some more size too, so that helped. But really, just he kind of stood out from everybody else in the workout as far as work ethic and what he was willing to do on the floor, some of the little things that others just weren't willing to do.
It seemed like it was the only school I needed to visit because it just fit, it was perfect for me, and I just kind of meshed with the coaches real well, and just I think it'll be the school for me in the future.
A sweet southpaw swing and oodles of still untapped potential have landed Quincy High's Avery Scott a window to continue her golf trajectory at the Division II level by way of McKendree.
Feels like I'm ready to start my life as an adult, and I'm ready to take on the world and see what my future has in store for me. The friendship and just how everybody was nice and very friendly and social, and if you walk by them, they ask how your day is, and I didn't see that really anywhere else that I went. So I wanted something that I'm going to be able to remember for the rest of my life. I don't want to just be by myself or even just with my team. I want to be able to make new friendships and just have fun. It's probably going to be my mental game. It's just when it comes to golf, that's the most important part of it. Something in business, I'm not completely sure yet. I think for the first year I'm going to go undecided and see what happens from there.
Well, perhaps the most fascinating signing storyline of the week belonged to Fort Madison softball's Danielle Wanderer, both in terms of her unreal diamond improvement, a leap grand enough to take her from humble high school beginnings to a chance to continue at the college level at Cornell of Iowa, but also in terms of her incredible academic potential and intellectual, or I should say eclectic intellectual pursuits.
It feels really great. I didn't think I would be able to do this actually. My freshman year I wasn't the best player by any means necessary, and to be able to continue my career means a lot. For the first couple years of my softball career where I was taking it really seriously, I was mainly just a bunter because it was one of the only things I could do. So for me to be able to go from there to now my last fall season, be able to hit 7 home runs, it was a big progress, and it helped a lot. Cornell has programs that I was looking into. I'm not for sure which double major I'm looking at, but I know there are 4 possible majors that I can choose from that I want to go into, and Cornell was one of the only colleges that had all 4 of those programs. Anthropology, archaeology, classics, or linguistics. I've just always kind of had an interest. I've always liked learning about past cultures and everything like that, but I also love English and literature, so it was kind of hard to decide what to do.
And finally, had to jump the gun a bit on Morgan Broadwell's slated Saturday signing with Culver Stockton softball, but the ubiquitous Charger senior from Illini West was kind enough to share her thought process on becoming a Lady Wildcat today.
I felt like home when I visited, and the coach was super nice, and the teammates were all great when we ate lunch together. And we talked about how they played, and it just seemed really familiar with everything else I've done.
Great teammate, first and foremost. Dynamic player, can probably play any position you want her to. She's a really good catcher. We didn't get to see much of it last year, and then this year, going into it, we didn't have much pitching depth. And Morgan, starting early in the winter, she wanted to start pitching, and she did that. And she was primed to come out a little bit, I think. And so she's willing to step in and do whatever the team needs, and just dynamic.
I'll be in the radiologic technology program. I was really interested with anatomy and physiology during school, and I can't do blood, so surgery wasn't it, so x-ray was the way to go.
Congratulations to all of our signees, and have a great holiday weekend, everybody.